Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video at Lucky Orphans in New York, and I'm going to show you guys a bunch of herd-bound horse tips. So this is an exercise we were doing. These two thoroughbred geldings have become super attached and we're needing to basically be right beside each other. So we were doing this exercise of asking the horses to lead and walk. We were allowing them to keep moving and using that connection spot on them, and basically doing a little bit of approach and retreat of taking them closer to the door and further from the door, but starting with where the horses were at in terms of the distance that they could follow. And it worked really, really well. We had at first one horse that was on the inside, and then we swapped positions, and you can see this horse here gets, pretty upset and is wanting to kind of pull and go towards the door. But because the handler is continually kind of taking the horse closer and further and closer and further and never really getting too far away, she's able to end up getting the horse settled. You can see he gets pretty upset there and is wanting to know where his buddy is. So it's kind of like, hey, you're just going away from your buddy for a little bit, he's out of view, and then continuing on, and then it's like you get to see your buddy again. So we're just kind of showing him that he can live through that anxiety. So you can see here he's like really upset. Has a couple moments where he gets a little bit pushy and gets really, really upset about that. So we just keep kind of working through that and keep him on the pattern. So you want to kind of have that attitude of, you can do this, like you're going to be okay, and you don't need to see him but not be mean in the process. So not like really yanking on him or trying to add more anxiety or stress to the situation. You're trying to use your halter and your lead to kind of guide your horse where you want to go, but not trying to make the horse even more upset or aggravated. So here she's just continually kind of taking him on the path, and then you can see that he starts to realize, okay, like this is not enjoyable, but we're okay. We're not, dying in this process because it's a little bit away and then it's a little bit towards. And we repeat this until he gets a little smoother and more confident at doing that. And then we go on to do some other exercises afterwards. So I'll just kind of show you guys this process a little bit more here. And you can see the horses are working at that distance from each other. And you can see he's starting to get a little bit better about coming around the corner. His posture's getting a little bit better. And this is the first time that these people were working on this exercise with the horses. They'd been herd bound and kind of letting the horses stay close together, and really the horses aren't like in work being ridden or anything like that anymore. They're just retired from racing and have different injuries and things. So they just wanted to work on getting them easier to handle, because right now the way it is, they always have to kind of be together. So this was the first attempt, if you will, at working on that herd-boundness. And then we went on to do some other things and do some more building confidence. Had a lot of fun with being creative with some of the different obstacles and fun things they had in there. Just a really neat idea of some of the different obstacles they put together. There's this tarp, which they actually screwed to these poles to help lay the tarp flat, so it's not as scary or intense. It's not going to wrap up in the horse's legs. So here's a horse that wasn't too sure about going over the tarp at first, and then after some patience and persistence and some confidence building techniques was able to go over the tarp there and do a really good job at that. And it's really important that after you ask your horse to do something stressful, that you allow them the opportunity to breathe and digest what just happened and think about it, and just kind of reset their minds on whatever that was before you're too quick to go on to the next thing. And that's really important, just to give the horse a chance to stay in that thinking frame of mind and be ready to either try the same task again or go on to the next thing. And you can see this horse displaying, a little bit of stress sign where he did a little bit of pawing there. And so that's just the horse needing some time to release and just relax from that. And then she goes on and does something else before coming back to that tarp later on. This obstacle I think is super cool. It's literally just a frame of like 2x4s kind of putting together this frame, so it doesn't actually have a solid surface, so it's super light, easy to move. And then they put some balls on the inside of it. And I thought, how cool is that, to make a really simple obstacle really creative. You can put different things inside the box, and it's super light, easy to transport. What a cool idea for an obstacle. And then here's the horse again going over the tarp, and now much more confident at doing that, really relaxed looking. Got to a place where it's really, really nice. And then here's our herd-bound thoroughbreds again. So we did some relaxation exercises, and this was neat because the horses aren't facing each other and they were still being pretty relaxed. And then we worked on doing some more approach and retreat style confidence building, where we had the horses inside the arena together, but we're working on getting them further away from each other. And so this was a pretty big moment here of starting to get the horses really quite far away from each other, where they're at basically the opposite ends of the arena from each other, and they weren't calling and they weren't getting dangerous. Their behavior wasn't escalating. So it was really nice to see that as they relaxed with their humans and we worked on some different things, we were able to get to this point. And one of the things when we're working with herd-bound horses and really working with confidence in general, it's trying to push the threshold just a little bit to say, like, okay, like, I know this is hard for you, but you can do it and we can overcome this, without completely blowing the horse up. You don't want to push that horse into that full panic zone. So we don't need to start with just being in the arena by themselves, because if they were in the arena completely by themselves, probably that's going to turn into rearing or maybe even striking, trying to pull away, something really dangerous. And we don't need to go there. We don't need the horse to feel like that. We don't need to have that dangerous situation for ourselves either. And so what this does is it helps you build up the horse's confidence slowly, so that way everybody stays safe and the horses stay a little bit more happy about everything that's going on. So it's just really nice to see them progress so much and be able to get so far away from each other. And people who had never worked on horse training like this before, never done this type of groundwork before, and they were able to have really great success. And even though there were a couple moments where the horses did get a little bit upset, we were able to work through them, and they were able to overcome that, which was fantastic, because these horses had basically been glued at the hip to each other and not able to go more than like 10 feet away from each other. And so they're already made huge progress in just one afternoon of session. So they did an awesome job, and we had lots of great moments with a lot of students. I thought this was a cute little clip to end on, just some huge smiles for the day, everybody finding some relaxation and building trust in their partnerships. Thanks for watching.